And today we have the color guard from Montbello High School, and they are guests of Representative Rosenthal.
Mark time! March! Color guard! Halt! Left! Face! Present! Colors!
Today's Pledge of Allegiance is by Camille Riley from Arrupe Jesuit High School in Denver, Colorado.
Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all.
all.
Color guard formation!
All right, thank you. Mr. Randall, do you want to call the roll?
Representatives Arndt, Baker J, Baker K, Beckman, Benavides,
Excused.
Bridges, Bridges,
Excused.
Buck, Buckner, Carver, Catlin, Coleman, Covarrubias, Covarrubias,
Excused.
Danielson, Escar, Everett.
Oh,
Representative Bridges is present.
excused.
Exum, Exum, Foot, Garnett, Janal, Gray, Hamner, Hanson, Hanson,
Excused.
Representative Hanson is present. Herod, Hooten, Humphrey, Jackson. Kennedy. Crabtharp. Landgraf. Lawrence. Lee. Lee. Oh, thank you. Leonard.
Excused.
Lewis. Representative Everett is present. Lewis.
Excused.
Liston. Lontine. Lundeen. McKean. McKean.
Excused.
McLaughlin. Melton. Michelson Janae, excused. Neville. Pabone. Pedersen. Pedersen. Oh, thank you. Rankin. Ransom.
Janae said she's going to be here around 10. Michelson Janae said she'll be here around 10. How you doing? Ransom sick? Okay.
Excused.
Ryer. Ryer. Representative McKean is present.
Excused.
Roberts. Rosenthal. Representative Benavidez is present. Rosenthal. Sane. Salazar. Sandridge. Sias. Singer.
Excused.
Thurlow. Valdez. Representative Covarrubias is present. Van Winkle. Weissman. Willett. Williams. Wilson. Winkler. Winter. Wist. Young. Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, you got it.
With 59 present and 6 excused, we do have a quorum. Representative Bridges, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. It is an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you, too.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I move the reading of the Journal of Monday, April 30th, 2018 be dispensed with and approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
All right, members, you have heard the motion. Everyone in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying no. All right, that motion passes. I have an announcement. Actually, I have a couple. The first is today, Representative Rosenthal will replace Representative Singer on the Public Health Committee. Also, on Senate Bill 68 by Representative Van Winkle and Bridges, the Senate did not concur in House amendments and has requested a conference committee. The conferees will be Van Winkle, Bridges, and Roberts.
There you go, ma'am. Thank you.
Announcements and introductions. Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you. Members, can I have your attention briefly, especially committee chairs? Afternoon committees will start at 2 o'clock today instead of 1:30 because we are getting started late on the floor and because morning committees may need to go a little bit longer. So afternoon committees will start today at 2 o'clock.
All right, Representative McKean.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it was so cute that the majority leader actually looked at our side while she was announcing the committee chairs. But, you know, it's just a little thing about me. The reason why, and I thought you might expand on this, the reason why Representative Rosenthal will be replacing Representative Singer today is because Representative Singer is going to become a father again. He's not having a baby, but he will be present for the birth of a baby. That's a pretty cool thing. So let's all lift him up this morning and think about him and his wife and family, and let's wait to hear all the good news.
All right, announcements and introductions. Representative Valdez, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you. And congratulations, Representative Singer. Members, if you're looking to harness the power of unmanned technology, AUVSI Exponential 2018 is the spot. An intersection of cutting-edge innovation and real-world applications. Exponential is one event that brings all things unmanned into sharp focus. Join more than 8,500 industry leaders and forward-thinking users from both the defense and commercial sectors to learn the latest on policy, business, technology, and applications. Members, if you have time, go down to the Convention Center between today and May 3rd to check it out. They also have mapped out the Great National Sand Dunes Park and Preserve, and also have a great area in the San Luis Valley. Thank you, members.
All right, further announcements or introductions? Representative Roberts, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, may I request a moment of personal privilege?
Just one moment.
Thank you.
A moment of personal privilege is granted.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, happy May Day. May 1st is a special day for me, and I thought a lot about whether I would come down here and talk about this, but I decided that I will, since we're in some pretty heavy times right now and intense things going on here. May 1st is special for me because it is my little brother's birthday. So I just wanted to take a moment to let you all know a little bit about my little brother Murphy. If it weren't for Murphy, I know for a fact I would not be standing right here as a state representative. Murphy was the reason I got interested and involved in politics in the first place. When he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in 2005, when he was 11, I wanted to find a way to maybe help him and other people with the disease that he had, other kids with the disease that he had. And seeing him struggle with the disease, but also keep such a positive attitude and willingness to help others and live life to the fullest inspired me to try and do things to make other people's lives better like he was. And Murphy loved politics and loved government. He would be fascinated by what I'm doing. He was in college studying counterterrorism because he wanted to serve his country, and he couldn't do that in the military because of his disease, but he wanted, with hopes of someday working at the CIA or the State Department or something like that. And I've been able to have a lot of my family come here to the floor, my girlfriend, my brother, my sister. You guys met my brother, my parents. Unfortunately, though, Murphy will never get to come here and see me as a state representative. In August of 2016, he had a type 1 diabetic seizure and fell and hit his head and passed away when he was hiking. But since he will never get to come here, I just wanted to take a few moments and share a little bit about him and some of his wisdom and his inspiration for me with all of you. Murphy loved to write and talk about politics and talk about what was going on in the world, and he wrote a lot to his college newspaper, and I was looking through some of his pieces the last few days as leading up to his birthday, and I found something I think would help all of us here in these last few days of session. And it's really easy to get cynical in this building, I've found, in just even a few months. And you can get locked into your opinions and your side of the aisle and think you know everything. So I wanted to read you just a little excerpt from a piece that he wrote that's titled, "I Know Nothing." The world is a very massive and very complicated place. I cannot even pretend to know a fraction about it. The best we can do is share one another's thoughts, and most importantly, our experiences with one another in order to better visualize the world. The most significant thing we can all do to augment our wisdom is to admit our own sense of ignorance. The more that we learn, the more we realize how little we know. Ultimately, that is a good thing if you see it in the right way. Our lives are a blank Google Doc, and I'd like to invite everyone to edit mine. Tell me a story, I'll tell you one in return. Murphy would have been turning 24 today, so thank you all. I just want to wish him a happy birthday, and it's an honor to serve with all of you and learn a little bit about everybody's little lives, and look forward to sharing more experience with you, and thank you guys this morning.
Thank you so much, Representative Roberts, for sharing that story with all of us. Helps us keep things in perspective. Announcements and introductions. Any further announcements or introductions? Going once, going twice. You know what that means. Oh, we have an announcement and introduction. Representative Lee, good morning.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity to announce that Judiciary Committee will be having both its morning and its afternoon sessions in room 271. The schedule shows it as the room downstairs, but we're in 271 morning, noon, and night. Thank you.
Further announcements or introductions? Representative Liston.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Madam Chairman, I know we had a long evening last night and everybody worked really hard, and we've had some sober news and stuff, so I think it's time for some good economic news. You know, cheer us up. You know, we have a great economy and so forth, so I'm here to bring some good news for everybody. The other day, the Federal Reserve, federal government, regularly they prepare and distribute news on the economy. The U.S. Commerce Department released numbers this past Friday that is particularly good news heading into the summer. The first quarter earnings of the year, public companies are announcing their earnings. They just came out and they were up just 2.3%, which was actually not as good as what some people expected. But if you look in relation to what happened in the first quarter of 2016, when the earnings were only up 0.6%, this was nearly a 400% increase over what we saw 2 years ago. Wage growth today is International Workers' Day. I believe May 1st, isn't that Workers' Day? I believe it is. Wage and salary payments grew this first quarter by $369 billion over the past year. That works out to an additional $2,900 per household. This is good news for everybody. That's real money in everybody's pocket, $2,900. And, you know, there's a real revolution going on, and I don't mean just in Venezuela. What I'm talking about is a revolution that's going on here in America where business investment has gone up a little over 6%. And why does this matter? Because employers and employees get raises because of this great economic growth that we're seeing. American workers are more productive and more prosperous. $2,900 per household is real money. So let's be glad. Let's be glad we live in such a great economy where business investment is up, workers are seeing higher wages. Aren't we glad that we live in a great economy where we're all more prosperous? Let's cheer our great economic prosperity and economy. Thank you.
Representative Hansen, good morning. Would you please enlighten us?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, I have some good news to share as well. Would you like the good news or the bad news first? Which one should we go with first? The good news? The good news. All right. For Representative Wilson, we will start with the good news. So the good news from our good friends in El Paso County is that they are about ready to build a 100 megawatt solar farm. Solar farm. Isn't that great news? New jobs, new investment in El Paso County. And at the exact same time, it looks like they're going to be closing down the Martin Drake coal plant, saving the customers of El Paso County a massive amount of money. What fantastic news that Colorado continues its inexorable march toward more clean energy. So that was the good news, and El Paso County is going to do very well because of that. But unfortunately, my fellow members, I have some bad news I need to share. So Representative Liston was absolutely right. There is some great economic data that we get from time to time. Unfortunately, we are not on a solid foundation, and that's the bad news that I have to share with you. So starting next year and through 2028, the federal debt is going to grow extremely quickly. In fact, we're going to have deficits in excess of $1 trillion per year for the next 10 years projected by our friends in Washington, which leaves us with about $30 trillion of debt by 2029. So I think it's very important to put the tax bill, the tax cuts that seem to produce some short-term winners like corporate profits, absolutely, great transfer from the American taxpayer to corporate profits. Unfortunately, we're putting this on the national credit card. And the contention that these tax cuts pay for themselves has already been refuted by our very own OMB director, Mick Mulvaney. Already been blown up, already refuted in front of Congress. So there's no free lunch, folks, and corporate profits are benefiting now, but they're on our grandchildren's credit card. Thanks.
Representative Rosenthal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, there's some additional really distressing news since that the trade war that the president is starting with one of our biggest trade partners, China, is, as of this morning in Bloomberg, not exactly a liberal rag, is talking about how it's going to cost $3 billion to the economy, and we're going to lose, members, we're going to lose 134,000 jobs. I don't call that good news for those hardworking Americans who are now going to lose their jobs because somebody cannot control their temper. Thank you.
Announcements and introductions. Representative Weissman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And my colleagues from Denver have, I think, capably talked about the economic data. Usually I would dive in and join them in the weeds, but as we come to the end, I just wanted to bring us back to big principles, notwithstanding the numbers. The moral test of government is how that government treats those who are in the dawn of life, children, who are in the twilight of life, the elderly, and those who are in the shadows of life, the sick, the needy, and the handicapped. Let's remember that, notwithstanding any numbers.
Further announcements or introductions? Any further announcements or introductions? Going once, going twice. Members, we're going to begin third reading. One final announcement on Senate Bill 68. The conferees will be Representative Bridges as chair, Representative Weissman, and Representative Van Winkle. All right, with that, Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 205.
Senate Bill 205 by Senators Marble and Quorum, all Representatives Catlin and McLaughlin, concerning the regulation of industrial hemp as an agricultural product and in connection with identifying the unprocessed seeds of industrial hemp as a commodity under the Commodity Handler Act and industrial hemp as a farm product under the Farm Products Act.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 205 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 205 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Liston, please close the machine. With 60 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 5 excused, Senate Bill 205 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1378.
House Bill 1378 by Representatives Danielson and Buckner, all Senators Donovan and Fields, concerning the creation of the Equal Pay for Equal Work Act and in order to implement measures to prevent pay disparities in connection with promoting pay transparency and making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1378 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is passage of House Bill 1378 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 34 yes votes, 26 no votes, and 5 excused, House Bill 1378 is passed. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of HCR 1002.
House Concurrent Resolution 1002 by Representatives Melton and Salazar, also Representatives also Senators Williams and Crowder, submitting to the registered electors of the state of Colorado an amendment to the Colorado Constitution that prohibits slavery and involuntary servitude as punishment for a crime and thereby prohibits slavery and involuntary servitude in all circumstances.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House HCR 1002 on third reading and final passage. And members, as a concurrent resolution, this needs 44 votes to pass.
All right. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. please close the machine. With 60 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 5 excused, HCR 1002 is passed. Oh, we all agree on something. Co-sponsors. 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 Please close a machine. All right, Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1405.
House Bill 1405, Representative Lee, Senator Gardner, concerning exception from the mandatory reporting requirements for persons providing legal assistance to area agencies on aging.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1405 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is a passage of House Bill 1405 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 61 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 4 excused, House Bill 1405 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1411.
House Bill 1411, Representative Pabono, Senator Smallwood, concerning eliminating redundancy related to fingerprint-based criminal history record checks for persons who have or will have direct contact with vulnerable persons.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1411 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is passage of House Bill 1411 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 61 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 4 excused, House Bill 1411 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1115.
House Bill 1115, Representatives Carver and Janal, Senators Cook and Garcia, concerning the provision of training materials related to human trafficking by the Department of Public Safety in connection with making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1115 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is the passage of House Bill 1115 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Catlin. Please close the machine. With 54 yes votes, 7 no votes, and 4 excused, House Bill 1115 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over House Bill 1357 till the end of the second reading calendar.
House Bill 1357 will be laid over until the end of the second reading calendar. Mr.
Sorry.
Oh, excuse me, third reading calendar. I meant it right. So the motion is to lay it over till the end of the third reading calendar. That motion stands. Next up, House Bill 1011. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1011.
House Bill 1011 by Representatives Pabon and Van Winkle, all senators Neville and John, concerning measures to allow greater investment flexibility in marijuana businesses and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Is this another Pabon specialty? Oh, Lord. Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I, at least for the moment, move for the passage of House Bill 1011 on third reading and final passage.
That is a proper motion. Representative Pabon.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and sometimes you just can't make this stuff up. So I spoke to the drafter this morning, and he asked me who my least favorite drafter was, and of course I said, it's not you, Mr. Doar, because you wouldn't have a technical amendment for me on third reading, and he said, actually, I do. So I need to ask permission of this body, and Madam Speaker, you're free to fine me, as I think I've deserved it at this point. We missed a couple of relettering in page 7, line 19, and language dropped out. If you look at the second engrossed bill on page 36 after line 25, it just dropped out. So we just want to clean it up. It is a technical amendment. I have shared this with Representative Van Winkle, who was also concerned, but Representative Van Winkle.
Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members asked for a yes vote on this motion. It is truly technical. If you recall, this bill has gone through 16 large amendments that moved many things around in the interest of public safety, and I ask for a yes vote on this purely technical change.
All right. So the question before us is permission for a third reading amendment. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Humphrey. Please close the machine. With 52 yes votes, 10 no votes, and 3 excused, permission to offer a third reading amendment is granted. Representative Pabon.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, members, for your indulgence. I move L017 and ask that it be displayed.
All right, properly moved, and it is displayed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And as I said before, we just need to re-letter some of the sections, that's lines 1 through 3, And then lines 4 through 13 is language that should be in the bill. And if you look at the second engrossed bill, you will notice that the language just literally disappeared. So we want to add it back in, and that's what this amendment does.
Any discussion? All right, I'll just give it a couple minutes for people to read it. I know that there were some folks that were looking at it. Seeing no further discussion. Representative Everett, are you all right. Seeing no further discussion, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 49 yes votes, 13 no votes, and 3 excused, Al 017 is adopted. Would somebody like to make a motion? Not for
really.
CDA, but Madam Majority Leader Becker.
No one really wants to make a motion at the moment. However, it is my assigned responsibility. Therefore,
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1011 on third reading and final passage.
As amended.
As amended.
All right. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote on the motion to pass House Bill 1011 as amended. On third reading and final passage. Representative Escar and Representative Landgraf and Representative Valdez. Please close the machine. With 42 yes votes, 20 no votes, 3 excused, House Bill 1011 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1363.
House Bill 1363, Representative Singer and Landgraf, House Senator Crowder, concerning legislative recommendations of the Child Support Commission in connection with making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for that passage of House Bill 1363 on third reading and final passage. And members, Representative Singer is out, but he asked that I move ahead in passing in moving his bill because he may be out for a few days.
All right. Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Members, please proceed to vote on House Bill 1363. Please close the machine. With 56 yes votes, 6 no votes, and 3 excused, House Bill 1363 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1396.
House Bill 1396, Representative Buckner, House Senator Moreno Amprillo, concerning creation of an advanced placement exam fee grant program in the Department of Education in connection with making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1396 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is the passage of House Bill 1396 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 43 yes votes, 19 no votes, and 3 excused, House Bill 1396 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1407.
House Bill 1407, Representatives Young and Rankin, House Senators Lambert and Moreno, concerning increasing access to services for persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities that are provided by a stable workforce in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1407 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is the passage of House Bill 1407 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 61 yes votes, 1 no vote, House Bill 1407 is passed. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1429.
House Bill 1429 by Representative Hamner, House Senator Lambert, concerning the exemption of the Workers' Compensation Cash Fund from the maximum reserve.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1429 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is the passage of House Bill 1429 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 62 yes votes, 1 no vote, House Bill 1429 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1267.
House Bill 1267 by Representatives Gray and McKean, House Senator Tate, concerning an income tax credit for retrofitting residents to increase the residents' visitability and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1267 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1267 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 45 yes votes, 18 no votes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1267 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1376.
House Bill 1376, Representative Bowen, House Senator Aguilar, concerning the regulation of individual residential services and support persons for providers for persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities in connection with making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1376 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is passage of House Bill 1376 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 34 yes votes, 29 no votes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1376 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read this title of Senate Bill 12.
Senate Bill 12 by Senator Hill, also Representative Pedersen, concerning including military enlistment as part of the post-secondary and workforce readiness performance indicator for public schools.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 12 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 12 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative McKean, Pabon, Sias, and Winkler. Please close the machine. With 50 yes votes, 13 no votes, and 2 excused, Senate Bill 12 is passed. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 225.
Senate Bill 225 by Senator Lambert, also Representative Hamner, concerning the definition of an early college for purposes of the Concurrent Enrollment Programs Act.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 225 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 225 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 63 yes votes, 0 no votes, and 2 excused, Senate Bill 225 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 232.
Senate Bill 232 by Senator Sonnenberg and Cavalas, also Representative Escar and Hansen, concerning clarification of the calculation used to determine the amount of money that must be spent to acquire works of art for capital construction projects that are the subject of a lease purchase agreement.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 232 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 232 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote.
Oh, never mind. I didn't raise my hand in time. I totally failed at my one job.
Humphrey.
And I'm going to be asked to be excused from this vote under 21C. Please close the machine. With 42 yes votes, 20 no votes, and 3 excused, Senate Bill 232 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over House Bill 1289 to the end of the third reading calendar.
All right, House Bill 1289 will be laid over till the end of the third reading calendar. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 200.
Senate Bill 200 by Senators Tate and Peel, also Representatives Becker, Kane, and Pabon, concerning modifications to the Public Employees Retirement Association hybrid defined benefit plan necessary to eliminate with a high probability the unfunded liability of the plan within the next 30 years.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 200 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is passage of Senate Bill 200 on third reading and final passage. Seeing discussion. Good morning, Representative Wilson.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. Actually, it's not discussion. As a PERA retiree, I need to take a 21C on this.
C is granted. Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, members, here we are. The fourth para funding crisis in 15 years. And perhaps this is the most serious of them all. At a time when the stock market has been roaring, the economy for nearly a decade has been roaring. Our state's credit rating has been put onto a negative outlook, on a negative watch list. That means, members, in a matter of weeks, it could become more expensive to fix our roads and bridges. It could become more expensive for schools to bond and borrow. It could become more expensive to live and work in this great state of Colorado. This is a real problem with real people who are counting on us to save para from the brink. That's right, members. We need to save para from the brink. The unfunded liabilities, AKA the benefits and promises we have made that we cannot keep, are at best 3 times the size of our general fund. Half the promises we have made right now we cannot keep. In 20 years, the fund is bankrupt. Game over. The vaults are empty. 20 years. This version of Senate Bill 200 does not rise to the occasion. It is at best a Band-Aid. Members, when the patient is bleeding out, a Band-Aid just won't do. This version of Senate Bill 200 is a Band-Aid. It won't do. I ask for a no vote.
Representative Sane.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And this bill benefits me as a retiree, but not the taxpayers. I also ask for a 21C.
Okay, I think I'm going to take a brief, hopefully brief, recess. House will come back to order. All right. We have received guidance from OLLS that indicates that it is not necessary for members to take a 21C under the ethical or legal guidelines. That said, members can still choose to ask to be excused from voting, and they can have that request, even though legally or ethically under the rules it's not required. With that, Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, members. And if you're not actually planning to do something in the will, I ask that members take their seats. So there are over 585,000 para beneficiaries currently. Rule 42, Joint Rule 42, which in your purple book is, oh, this is an old one, but page 129, clearly states that if you are a member of a class, and that class is large enough, it's not a class of a few people, essentially, you do not have to take a 21C. Or, yes, a 21C. In fact, it is our clear legislative responsibility to manage. We have the ultimate management responsibility for para. So if everyone said, well, I'm a para beneficiary because I'm a member of a defined contribution or a defined benefit plan, it would mean none of us ever get to vote on anything involving para. And that doesn't make sense because we, by statute, by law, have the responsibility to actually make decisions on para. So if you choose for yourself that you want to take a 21C, that is a personal decision to you. However, I would encourage the body to carry out our legislative responsibility to manage the statutory obligations of addressing this issue that we have with para today. So members, you are not obligated to take a 21C. I ask that you not take a 21C. And with that, I would like to move forward with Senate Bill 200.
All right. Further requests? Representative Sane.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The reason I asked for 21C is this is voting for something that's completely outsized to what the taxpayer receives. They don't get the option for the DC, we do. And we know with the rate of return, we're taking from future generations without any guarantee to the taxpayer that they're going to have to pay these unfunded liabilities in the future. I renew my call for 21C.
21C is granted. Further requests? Seeing Representative Liston. And if it is a matter of conscience, 21C will be granted so. Representative Liston.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I would too would I like to request a 21C because I did sign up originally for the defined benefit, not the defined contribution, and I have a good retirement. So in all due conscience, I ask for a 21C.
All right, that is granted as well. All right, with that, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative McKean. Please vote. Please close the machine. With 38 yes votes, 23 no votes, and 4 excused, Senate Bill 200 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. All right, Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1409.
House Bill 1409 by Representative Lee and Harrod, all Senators Lundberg and Fields, concerning the creation of the Community Crime Victims Grant Program and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1409 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is the passage of House Bill 1409 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Tharp and Representative Pabon. Please close the machine. With 40 yes votes, 24 no votes, and 1 excuse, House Bill 1409 is passed. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1419.
House Bill 1419 by Representatives Foot and Jackson, all Senators Jones and Capales, concerning additional safety requirements for oil and gas operators in connection with requiring the disclosure of the location of subsurface facilities and the sharing of oil and gas operators' development plans with affected local governments, requiring rules regarding wellhead integrity.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1419 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is the passage of House Bill 1419 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 35 yes votes, 29 no votes, and 1 excuse, House Bill 1419 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1352.
House Bill 1352 by Representatives Foot and Gray, all Senators Jones and Aguilar, concerning clarification of the minimum distance from which certain oil and gas facilities must be located from any school.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1352 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1352 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine. And members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 35 yes votes, 29 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1352 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. That takes us back to House Bill 1357. Mr. Randall, please read the title.
House Bill 1357 by Representatives Michelson, Janelle, Senators Gardner, Williams, concerning access to behavioral health care services in connection with establishing an ombudsman for behavioral health access care to assist consumers in assisting care, requiring health insurers and the Commissioner of Insurance to report on compliance with mental health parity laws, making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1357 on third reading and final passage.
Properly moved. Representative Michelson, Janelle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I find myself in the embarrassing position of needing to ask for a third reading amendment.
All right. Would you like to tell us why?
Yes, well, thank you, Madam Speaker. Yesterday, in his infinite wisdom, Representative Singer, who has some excuse about, I don't know, a baby, gave us an etymology lesson on the term ombudsman, and we changed the language to reflect the actual word, but neglected to change the title. So we must change the title to reflect ombudsman versus ombudsperson. And there is also 3 words missing from page 1, lines 104 and 5, to strike health insurers and.
All right.
I ask for an aye vote.
Question before us is permission to offer a third reading amendment. Representative Winkler, is this to permission? Okay. Mr. Randall, please open the machine.
Oh. Casey, now I move the amendment.
Representative Janelle. Please close the machine. With 57 yes votes, 7 no votes, and 1 excuse, permission to grant a third reading amendment is granted. Representative Michelson, Janelle.
Thank you, members, for permission. I now request that Amendment L005 be moved and properly displayed.
Say, I move L005.
I move L005 and ask that it be properly displayed.
All right, properly moved, and it is displayed. Representative Michelson, Janelle.
As previously discussed, with Representative Singer's help, we corrected the language and ask for your aye vote.
Representative Winkler.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I just wanted to come up here and verify that Representative Singer. If you missed it, it was quite enthralling. And in his near infinite wisdom, taught us all about the lack of ombudsperson really being a word. And so it is, in my opinion, a friendly amendment.
All right, with that, seeing no further discussion, Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. All right, we are on third reading, members. Representative Gray.
What's this?
Please close the machine. With 60 yes votes, 4 no votes, and 1 excused, L005 is passed. Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1357 as amended.
All right, the question before us is passage of House Bill 1357 as amended. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 38 yes votes, 26 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1357 is passed as amended. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. All right, that takes us back to House Bill 1289. Madam Majority Leader Becker. Mr. Randall, please read the title.
House Bill 1289, Representatives Foot and Young, Senator Jones, concerning exemption from forced pooling of certain governmental entities that own mineral rights.
Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1289 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1289 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Rosenthal. Please close the machine. With 34 yes votes, 30 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1289 is passed. Co-sponsors. please close the machine. All right. Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for the consideration of conference committees to report House Bill 1295.
All right. Seeing no objection, we will proceed out of order for the consideration of conference committee. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1295.
House Bill 1295, Representative Salazar and Nescar, Senator Quorum, concerning modification to the Colorado Food and Drug Act to allow products containing industrial hemp in connection with establishing the products containing industrial hemp are not adulterated or misbranded by virtue of containing industrial hemp.
Representative Escar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the first conference committee on House Bill 1295 be granted permission to go beyond the scope of the differences between the two houses.
All right, properly moved. Representative Salazar.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. We met with the good senators over in the other chamber, and we were able to land in a good place. One of the stakeholders, Natural Grocers, asked us to move the definition that we had in 1295 under the Food Act and move it over to the criminal code, which is where everyone felt comfortable as to where it needed to be. So that's what we did, and it looks like we're in a happy place. But in order to do this, we need to go beyond the scope in order to draft up the amendment and bring it on over here. So we're asking for a yes vote. Thank you.
All right, please open the machine. And members, please proceed to vote.
Madam Speaker, there's one more that wants to get permission to go beyond the scope, so we need to do that now as well, which is Senate Bill 15. Senate Bill 15? Yeah. So.
All right, Representative Sayas, Lantine, and Madam Majority Leader.
Oh. I'll do it.
Oh, you don't need me to make them.
Please close the machine. With 55, that was good. With 54 yes votes, 10 no votes, and 1 excused, permission to go beyond the scope in conference committee is granted. Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for the consideration of conference committee to report on Senate Bill 15.
Properly moved. Seeing no objection, we will proceed out of order. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 15.
Senate Bill 15 by Senators Gardner and Hill, House Representatives Williams and Liston, concerning the Protecting Homeowners and Deployed Military Personnel Act.
Representative Weissman.
Thank you, and members, we ask for permission to go beyond the scope of differences on Senate Bill 15. Our conference committee actually met last Friday for 30 minutes. We had a very thorough discussion. We have a draft report which will be coming before the House soon. However, we were alerted by our drafter this morning of some semantic issues. We need to change the words peace officer in a few places to sheriff, and things that are that small in nature. So that's why we need to ask for permission, and we hope that you will give us permission. Thank you.
All right.
I second that.
Okay. Representative Gray.
Never mind.
All right. With that, Mr. Randall, please open the machine and please vote. Scope go beyond the scope for conference committee on Senate Bill 15. Please close the machine. With 62 yes votes, 2 no votes, and 1 excused, the motion to allow the conference committee to go beyond the scope to Senate Bill 15 is adopted. And I just got really great news.
I'll raise my hand.
That Representative Singer's baby was just born. Beautiful little boy, Representative Gray and Crafthorpe. And Madam Speaker Pro Tem, thank you for bringing this forward. I do want to clarify one thing, though. I saw Charles Ashby wrote that he may be a Republican, and I'm just not sure that that is true. We better confirm that with Mom and Dad first. Madam Speaker Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And for when Jonathan can see this, just congratulations to your family and great job, Allison, and welcome to the world, little baby boy.
Congratulations, Rep. Singer.
Okay, congrats.
All right. Thank you, members. With that, announcements and introductions. Stop spreading rumors, Charles. Announcements and introductions. Announcements and introductions. Representative Janal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And Health Insurance and Environment, let us meet in room 107 in 5 minutes, please. We are going to hear House Bill 1399, House Bill 1397, Senate Bill 234, and House Bill 1431. Thank you.
All right, and I have a couple of announcements. On the Public Health Committee, Representative Young will replace Representative Pedersen today only. And on the Judiciary Committee today only, Minority Leader Neville will replace Assistant Minority Leader Wist on that committee. Further announcements or introductions. Representative Crafthorpe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Business Affairs and Labor Committee will be meeting at 2 o'clock this afternoon in LSBA. We'll be hearing 2 bills. House Bill 1421 with Representative Rankin. Welcome back. And then Senate Bill 219. See you this afternoon.
Madam Majority Leader Becker. Oh, no, announcements and introductions. We've got another one. Representative Foote.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. I have an announcement about state affairs tomorrow. Tomorrow, first of all, we'll be in 271 State Affairs, and then also we will be upon adjournment tomorrow, State Affairs. So normally we're at 1:30 on Wednesdays, but tomorrow we'll be upon adjournment, and we have a number of bills to consider. Senate Bill 221 is on the top of the calendar right now. That's Representative Catlin's bill, but because there's remote testimony, we're going to have that around 1:30 so that the folks that are there for remote testimony will be at 1:30 instead of upon adjournment. So what we'll do is we'll switch that down to somewhere around 1:30, which will leave us with Senate Bill 228 first, then Senate Bill 77, Senate Bill 220, House Bill 1426, Senate Bill 61, Senate Bill 193, Senate Bill 230. So again, House State Affairs is upon adjournment tomorrow. It's also in room 271. We'll see you there.
All right, further announcements or introductions. Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Members, remember we will be coming back to the floor tomorrow night at 5:30 p.m. And with that, I move that the House stand in recess till 1 o'clock today.
All right, with that, the House will stand in recess until 1 p.m. today.